What is up, Mortgage Coach and Trust Engine community of mortgage professionals? I am super pumped about today's session. This could be really a workshop. There's been a lot of buzz around ChatGPT. I've been using it. I have personally upgraded to 4.0. It is amplifying my creativity. It is helping me come up with more headlines, better headlines. Personally, it's been like having a full-time marketing assistant that I could just tap anytime, even using it personally quite a bit. But I wanted to dedicate today around helping mortgage professionals solve some of the biggest problems they have. Some of you may have noticed that I put a post in our Facebook group 2 days ago saying, what do you want most? I don't know if I said this week or next week. I went new realtor relationships, more realtor referrals, more leads, more buyer leads, and over 60 people voted. And new realtors is what everybody wants. That's the biggest problem on your mind right now. So I thought I'd bring in Robert Stover, marketing expert. It's been someone I've had on retainer on and off for over 30 years. And he is he is the first person when I want to, hey, Stover, is this a good headline? Or Stover, how can I get more people to respond to this? He's the first call I make and has been for a long time. I also introduced him to Dan Keller, who everyone in this community, you know who Dan is, one of America's top loan officers, one of America's top professionals that creates a brand on social media. And so I introduced those two, and Dan actually hired him to come out and speak to all of his realtors, do some marketing training for his realtors. Dan, how did Stover do, you think?
Well, I mean, you got home runs and then you have the upper deck home runs. And I would say it was an upper decker. It was a no doubt about her. Stover's such a stud. And which reminds me, I got to get you up here again, man. That was, and I had my wife kind of come down and talk about the whole social media part of it. And then you were.
Yeah, she crushed us all.
Yeah, right. Brought us some cookies but you really talked about how to really add the power to the punch when you're marketing and your message and all that. So yeah, we'll get you back up here to beautiful Seattle.
Yeah, I actually wanted to use the picture of the three of us together at that event in the marketing, but my marketing team didn't get the memo, and they just showed pictures of YouTube. But guys, I will post that picture of the four of us, because I do think that kind of value, like that's how you recruit realtors in this market. You get them in a room, you deliver thought leadership, you help them solve their big problems. They need listings.
Yeah.
They need buyers that are ready to buy now, regardless of market circumstances. And so with that said, I want to hand it off to Mr. Stover. We only have Dan for about 15, 20 minutes. So Stover, get after it. Let's workshop on how ChatGPT can help us recruit new realtors.
Yeah, so the first thing you need to know about ChatGPT is if you ask it for garbage, it'll give you garbage. If you ask it for a bad strategy, it'll give you a bad strategy. And so what's real critical is, before we jump into the technicality of it, is actually getting our heads right around a strategy in this market, which is why I'm glad it's Dan's here. And what I want to do is pummel him with questions before he has to go, to help us get oriented on our strategy and exactly what we should be going after. And then we'll come back later into details of how to get in front of the realtors and how to get a presentation for them and how to get them more seller listings. So Dan, right off the bat, I think it's important, like if you're going to go after and try and build a relationship with realtors, I would love to hear from your perspective, what do average loan officers try and do? What's the historical way they've been trying to create these relationships with realtors?
Yeah, I think the average loan officer is going to do what they've been told for 30, 40 years, and that's to call realtors. Just pick up the phone and call them, pop by their office and meet them, maybe host local events and invite them out. The problem with that model is one, I believe it's outdated. I do believe in the phone, because I just gave a keynote talk at the Modern Mortgage Summit on how to make a proper sales call. I believe that's your way in. But if you don't have a value proposition or a hook on that sales call, you're no different. And I know that's the value that you're going to bring today, is how to separate yourself from the noise, how to stand out from the noise. So I think the traditional model is that you just go out, you try to network, and you try to meet realtors. We're in 2023. So we now have social media, which is basically it's an unfair advantage if you play your cards right with social media, using direct message, using content creation, using video, using what I've been doing lately is I will make an Instagram reel of value, and then I'll create what I want to title that reel on Instagram, and I'll text it to my realtors. So it shows up my image, it shows up with the hook in regards to the description of the title of the video. And then what does it do? It takes them to my Instagram page where I want them, where they're seeing content and they're seeing Dan Keller. So there's so many unfair advantages in regards to going out and courting realtors. I think, and one of the things that I've been able to do over the last 15 years in the mortgage industry, starting out in 2008 when I got in, is I started using video. So I started thinking along the lines of what do realtors need and how can I help provide them what they need? So it was video, it was blogging, it was social media marketing. And I wasn't the expert at it, but I started doing it. I was an early adopter. It worked in my business. And so I just went out to teach. And I think that's why we're here today. We have an opportunity now, something new in the market, like in 2008, it was video. 2010, it was blogging and social media. We now have ChatGPT, we have AI. Let's be early adopters to that. Let's go out and add value to our realtors, because real estate agents, really what they do is market. And ChatGPT, that system was built for marketers.
It was. So let's talk about, I think you like to fish, I like to fish, Dave likes to fish, match the hatch. Right now, like if you were throwing bait into a real estate office and wanted to, pull a big, not a big realtor, but pull a realtor out of there, what bait? What is it they want more than anything right now in this market?
Well, I think the thing that real estate agents want more than anything is commissions. They want to close deals. In this market, what they want more than anything, I believe, are listings. There's no listings. And then following listings is buyers. I think listings right now, well, one of the messages that I just did at a Coffee with Keller meetup for realtors last week was, how do we go manufacture our own business right now? So I brought in 2 realtors in the local area that are knocking it out of the park, calling for sell by owners. So the statistics say that 89% of all for sell by owners, they're going to try it on their own. And in the end, literally 9 out of 10 are going to list with a realtor. Those numbers are amazing. A 9 out of 10 opportunity. Right. There's a 90% chance that they're going to use me anyways. So why not call them, and why not be of value? And when they fail, they're going to list with me. Okay. So I brought in some realtors, 2 realtors to teach how to make a for sale by owner cold call. And then I brought in another realtor that's killing it by calling expired listings. Cool. So I'm teaching my realtors, or realtors that I want to go out and meet with, on how to go out and manufacture their own business right now. The third way would be exactly what we're talking about today. Going out and teaching them how to market. Realtors are independent contractors, very close to what we are as loan officers, right? Independent contractors, and we have to go out and we have to build our own brand. We have to market our own services and our own brand. And most of them just don't know how to do that.
Hey, Dan, real quick. One of the data trends that hit my radar last week was that our cash out refi alerts, from Sales Boomerang, a lot of those, more than you would think, are turning into listings. And, it kind of makes sense that, it's someone that has a lot of equity, or it wouldn't have been a cash out refi alert. It's someone that's got a lot of debt, wouldn't happen. And that's a person that, rather than do a cash out refi, maybe it's better to take out all of their equity, like 100% of your equity out, and then buy your next home with like 5-10% down, and then use all that cash out to pay off all your other debt. And even though mortgage rates are higher, those cash out, call it opportunities, are like finding opportunities that you didn't have. First of all, has that happened? Can you think of someone? I don't think you guys are a Sales Boomerang customer yet, but hopefully one day we'll be able to show you all those cash out refi alerts. But have you any situations come up like that where you're like, oh, that was a customer that sold, did exactly what I'm thinking? Has that come up?
Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of, hey, cash out, but I want a cash out refi, or I need to pull out $100,000 or $200,000 in equity. but I have a 2.875 30-year fix. And so we then talk about a HELOC strategy. I think as a mortgage professional, you have to ask good questions. So every single one of these calls, which is, let's just say a handful of them a month, I am asking every single client more about their situation as we're talking about, hey, what do you want to do with the money? Well, we're looking to renovate or we're looking to pay off debt. Cool. So why? So if they're looking to renovate, so you're looking at renovating because you want to sell or because you want to park yourself here for the next 5 or 10 years. So I'm asking more questions. I did have one client that said, well, we're thinking about selling in the next year and we want to renovate. So I said, hey, have you talked to your realtor yet? And they're like, no, because we're not ready to sell. And I said, you should talk with your realtor because you may not need to make those renovations to get the most amount of money out of the sale of your house. You could be maybe wasting time and money. And so that was one where I was able to hand a referral, a lead off to a realtor by just asking better questions. So I think it's important for us. We have access to the data and we have access to strategy. Don't just get them a HELOC, ask better questions to see if that's exactly what they need or not.
Got it. Hey, and community, I am looking for success stories so we can really unpack the playbook of how to turn those cash out alerts into listings. And one other thing that I think we're going to see, mortgage coaches in our community that are using Sales Boomerang are going to be able to get databases from realtors. Like, how would you like me to identify in your database, all the people? And when it makes sense, I'm calling them, and I'm not just calling them for a cash out refi. I'm calling them for, should you list your house and do the ultimate cash out transaction? Or should you do a HELOC? So I'm always looking for that. So anyways, shelf that for now. Keep going, Robert.
Well, it's good. Before Dan runs off, I'd love to know what tools he's finding most useful in this market from the mortgage coach. Which of the analysis tools and things like that. Because part of what mortgage coach loan officers bring to a realtor are these tools, and those tools allow different marketing messages that can be sent to their databases and stuff that other lenders can't do.
Yeah, so obviously I'm a huge fan of the rent versus own and showing the total, your increase in total net wealth by owning a home versus renting. That's my number one. That's for home buyers. What I'm using right now with a lot of people that have mortgages is I'm showing, and even people that are thinking about buying and waiting a year, I'm showing them the cost of waiting. In fact, I put together a really great one yesterday, and I can put it in the community so you can see this, where she was going to thinking about re-signing her lease in July, which is just a few months. So I'm getting to now partner with a realtor. Hey, do you have a realtor? Well, not yet. Well, good. So I'm going to go reach out to one that I like to recommend in your marketplace. And I want to get some market stats. You're thinking about buying a condo in North Seattle. So I want to try to understand, get a better idea of that market, what that'll look like a year from now if you decide to wait and sign a new lease, or if you were to buy right now at these rates with the potential to refinance when rates drop. And so, guys, it just comes down right now. I love this market that we're in because using resources like MortgageCoach, and I use HomeBot, and I use a few other, like obviously what we're talking about today with ChatGPT for marketing. It helps us stand out. It helps give us that advantage. And this particular client's an attorney. Like, their level of expectations is not, I just need to know if I'm approved or not. It's, they're looking for strategy. They're looking for advice. And that's how I won her business, because I'm giving her an actual game plan and advice. So I like those two resources right now. Those are the two big ones, because MortgageCoach can actually side by side show you the cost of waiting, the power of purchasing now, or and there's no right option for you. It's up to the customer, because they know their timeline and they know their finances a little bit better than we do, but at least they have access to that info. And then we can have a solid conversation around that.
How important, this is like an obvious question, is, and this is where ChatGPT comes in as well, is a lot of times you establish a relationship and then you just kind of let it, well, they know who I am, right? How important is that continually bringing value versus going in and doing a big show, getting their interest, and just kind of touch basing with them monthly or something?
Yeah, so the idea around a big event, okay, and this is I think what we're going to talk about today, what you guys are going to talk about, because I got to leave in a minute, is the idea of gathering a group of realtors together Okay. Showing them something that will add value to their business and not letting that excitement and that strategy end with that meeting. And so what I'm trying to do now is I'll do a bigger event, but I'm trying to cut down from the bigger events, and I'm trying to do more like 5 to 10 person power packed events. We're going to sit down and it's more of a round table versus Dan standing up at the front of the room lecturing and teaching, right? So, hey, let's have a round table on how ChatGPT, for example, can improve marketing in your business. And then that realtor is going to be like, this is how it could probably help me. And then next thing you know, we've got a roundtable discussion going. So the idea around these events is we have an event, it's of value, I've got their attention. So going back to fishing, that's the nice lure in the water. Hey, the fish are starting to look at it and they're coming toward it. They're not going to bite on it yet because that wasn't enough. Okay, so I got them in a room, I added value. Todd Duncan said this for years, the fortunes and the follow-up. So following up from that, now I get to do a private or a one-on-one strategy session with them. All right, let's learn more about your business. What can I do as a mortgage professional, leveraging a home bot, leveraging House Happy, leveraging MortgageCoach, leveraging my unique skills in my business to help amplify what you're already doing with your clients and help you generate more business. And then from there, so you have an event. Now you do the strategy session, and now they see your value. From there, it's I'm an account executive. I'm going to call them weekly and I'm going to check in. What can I do? Well, hey, I'm struggling here. Cool. Let's get together on this. Let's work through this. And now I'm an invaluable resource to them versus just a mortgage loan officer.
That's great. All right. So I think you've got to run. You're actually doing a talk, right?
I am. I'm getting ready to go up on stage. Yep.
If anybody wants to have you come on stage or bring you into their office and train them on getting meetings and doing these things, are you open to that?
I am open. Yep, I'm open. I was just down with Dave in Vegas at the Modern Mortgage Summit and love doing that stuff. So absolutely.
Real quick before you go, Dan. So anyone listens, Dan is absolutely one of the most accomplished speakers, incredible success stories. And I really do recommend, I love seeing lenders bring in other people and put them on stage. So Dan, you're totally good with that? Like you'll go speak and help other lenders and do that?
Absolutely. Yep. Just flew back from Minnesota last week I got to be the featured speaker at a big sales rally in the 22-degree Minneapolis, but it was awesome. And yeah, I love doing that. I think there's a lot of value that a lot of loan officers need to learn and know. And a lot of it's come from your community, Dave, and just so grateful to both you guys for helping grow me.
Right on. Well, Dan, you're always appreciated. You always bring massive value. Thank you, brother.
All right, you guys go rock the rest of this call.
Yeah, give Dan a big love. If you got value,
right.
Show a reaction. Thank you, brother. Take care. All right, Stover. So let's workshop that. I want to make sure we're literally showing people, this is how a marketing guru like Robert Stover is using ChatGPT in an efficient, effective way as a marketing assistant to solve problems. And guys, while the problem we're solving in this meeting is, new realtors, we could change the problem and you're getting Stover's process. Like, how is he going to get the information so that now he doesn't put garbage into ChatGPT. He puts in real insights that get back real value. So let's go.
All right. So what I always want to start with is my target, a realtor. And then I want to know what they want right now. And they want seller listings. I've been out in the forums, Tom Ferry's put out polls and stuff. And it's like, what do you want? And they're like, I don't need buyers. I've got 15 buyers that are pre-approved. What I need is a listing because there's no inventory. And so it is right now in this market, our focus needs to be completely around how do we get them a listing? And we can get listings from our own database, or we can teach them how to get listings from their database. And so the question is, well, how do you get a home buyer to bite right now? And now you have to look at your home buyer market and go, what are they biting on? What are their questions? What are their concerns? And things like that. So I'm curious, I'm going to ask if we're going to workshop this, if anybody, and let me see if I can access the chat here and see what's going on. Is anybody out there on ChatGPT? There's one, James. Yes, Charlie. Can you guys bring it up in your browser? I'm gonna hang a second. All right, James, he's bringing it up. Here is your mission. I want you to ask ChatGPT, and it's called an as if, act as if. You're going to say, I want you to act as if you are an expert on real estate and mortgage finance. You're advising a homeowner, an existing homeowner who has a very low interest rate and has a lot of equity on what they should do in a high interest rate market. Can you type that in? If I see a yes, all right, typed it, and I'm going to have you hit paste that into chat. Yeah, let me see if I can get it going here.
They want you to repeat it. Some people have said yes.
I'm typing. Give me a second here.
A lot of yeses. Couple repeat it. And remember, guys, this is recorded. It will be in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel within an hour. And this is a workshop. Are you typing it in, Stover?
Yes.
Are you going to show it on your screen, or are you just going to put it in chat?
I'm going to put it in text box and let them do it.
Okay. And Paul, could you help out on this also? Just so when Stover gives other commands, we can just get these in chat. And guys, when we do next workshop, Paul, let's try to have this ahead of time, and then we can literally just give people, the cut and paste of the prompt.
I do have some cut and paste. That one I just wung it.
All right.
So I have some others I will drop into chat.
Okay. And I'm going to put that in here too. So everybody should have it now, guys. And I do want to call out, if you put your mouse over the box and you look to the right, there'll be 3 little, buttons or dots. And then if you put your mouse over that and you hit copy, you can just copy that. That's a copy feature for anyone who doesn't know about that feature.
So this is a way, and who knows what you get. For example, the other day, I was using ChatGPT it was slaying it on these questions. This morning, I was running through to make sure it's going to work, and it was like, eh. And so sometimes it's incredible, and sometimes it's not.
And I'm using ChatGPT 4.0 right now, guys. So you will get different answers if you're asking 3.5 versus 4.0. And then I don't know, Stover, how many times you've done this, but I'm finding that when I put in, I'll do the same prompt and I'll get different answers on different days.
Yes, that's what I was just saying. Yesterday it was slaying it. This morning it was like, so.
Yeah, I like this. If I was a mortgage expert, and by the way, Stover sent me a really cool message the other day where he actually called out, as a mortgage coach, if I'm a mortgage expert who uses Mortgage Coach as my software, you'd get a whole different answer, and it would also help you position yourself as an advisor and a coach. So I don't know if you're going to cover that later, but I loved what you sent me the other day.
So I'll drop it right into the chat for them.
I'm going to go on and off. What are you dropping into chat?
What you just mentioned.
Oh, cool.
The prompt.
Oh, yeah.
Mortgage Coach.
This prompt, like, guys, we'll see how it performs today. But when Stover did this prompt a couple days ago when we were preparing for this, I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
I've got that article, by the way, and for anybody on the call, I'll share it with them because it's gold. And they can use it in their marketing. They can break it up into smaller articles for different socials. They can send it to an email list, a Realtor's email list.
So here's the prompt, guys, because for those of you, we'll get these in the YouTube channel. So if you're watching the recording, we'll put these prompts down below. I'll go ahead and throw this also in our Facebook group, but here it is. I am a loan officer who works helping homeowners move up in new homes and buy investment properties. I use a tool called MortgageCoach to help homeowners make wise decisions and build families well. Write an authoritative article titled "The Move Up Dilemma, investing in move up homes in a high interest rate, high price market when your current property has low interest rates." So, I mean, first of all, that was a brilliant prompt, Stover. I would love to know what Realtor Glenn Bill thinks about that one. I saw that Realtor Glenn Bill is watching this, and guys, look at this. So first of all, super smart prompt. And now, like, look at this. Look at this article that it's writing. Like, this is a huge gift to every mortgage coach. Evaluated the move up decision.
And while that's typing, I noticed in the chat, somebody asked if GPT is significantly slower. It is slower. As you can see, like right now it's going slower, but it's significantly more thorough. And by slower, we're talking, I sit there for 30 seconds or 20 seconds, or I sit there for a minute. That's the difference between, I mean, in the old world, if you had somebody write this, you're talking a week to research and write this.
Yeah. Benefits, risk.
Yeah, what's fascinating is this article is completely different than the one the other day, but it's rock solid.
Yeah.
And then something else I'm going to say is AI is your assistant. It's a really, really, really smart MBA assistant, but it's not the mortgage expert you are. And so as you read through there, you don't have to take whatever it says. Some of the stuff it puts up, you're going, oh, that's a bad strategy right now. Or that's nonsense. Why would you do that? And so edit it. Don't just take it.
Or it's too much information or too little information.
Yeah.
You know, so all it is just an assistant. Ooh, I'd like it when whenever ChatGPT uses the word mortgage coach, it makes me happy. By the way, guys, yesterday I asked ChatGPT what is the top YouTube channel for loan officers, and guess what it said, guys. Maybe if we have time, we'll do that prompt later on. All right, Stover, what's next?
I'll give you another prompt. So all these prompts, just so go back out to the grand strategy, all these prompts are targeting a homeowner that has an existing home and a lot of equity. And the reason I'm targeting them is, I think Jay, you saw the stats, 85% of homeowners have an interest rate right now of about 4 to 3%. And there's a lot of articles coming out that people are feeling trapped in their homes because how do I give up that interest rate and go to a 7% on a larger home that would be outrageously expensive? And so they're feeling trapped. And so what they're doing is turtling, right? They're going, well, I'm just going to ride this one out for the next 5-10 years and see what happens. But there's a lot of people, they actually do feel trapped and pent up because they want to move up. Kids are still happening, right? Small kitchens are still bothering people. Wanting to live in a better neighborhood is still happening. They just feel blocked. So I'm taking the mindset is, instead of, for example, I get the calls, interview homes get the calls. Hi, this is so Realtor. I want to know if you wanted to sell your home right now. No. Okay, bye. Next, right? I want to create and open their mind to things. They're looking for an excuse, but it's hard to when it's a 7% interest rate right now, and they could be in there and they only have this. And when I'm putting these things into chat, it's coming up with very good arguments on increasing. For example, if you buy a more expensive home, when the equity does start to go up, it's going to outpace the equity and the appreciation in your home, and it actually ROIs out to where you're advanced. That's one of them. But it's starting to open people's minds to these things. I'm going to give you a buyer funnel in a minute here. Let me hear from the chat. How are those prompts working for any of you at this point that have dropped them in?
give us some feedback. Kristen said amazing. Also remember, to use the little heart sign or, applause when Robert shares something of value. Also, and I don't know where all you're going to go with this, Stover, but one thing that I use a lot is like, I'll write something like this, and then I'll do something like, give me 5 more hooks and headlines.
Yeah.
And then, or 10 more. And now it's taking what I wrote, it's taking what it wrote, and it's giving me more hooks and headlines. And then, like, we started by just writing an authoritative article. Sometimes I'll go, now write a LinkedIn article, or now give me 5 tweets. So to me, I've been doing that for a long time, and I assume that's common knowledge, but I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are not doing this, coming up with a headline, or sometimes I'll just have a headline and I'll go, give me 5 more headlines like this one. And that's how I start everything.
So we're going to come back to doing some prompts. I want to share my screen a little bit on kind of what we're trying to do here psychologically, so that they know the intent of doing all these articles.
Real quick, before you do that, James Duncan is a good friend and VP of marketing of Thrive Mortgage, good client. And I just want to make sure you're going to cover this at some point, but he goes, can you also teach it by, well, by the way, do you see his posts?
I see, pretty cool. I don't see the other one. James, can you teach?
Okay,
you can teach.
You see that?
Yeah. Yeah, you can teach it. You can preload it with content. I preload it with text and stuff. You can preload it with articles, tell it to go out, read the article online, summarize it, and write headlines. Then you take the headline and go, write an article on this. It's just, it's insane.
And Stover, I've played with this, but I want to know how you would do it. We're like taking the transcript to one of my interviews, and what would be the prompt if I wanted to give it one of my interviews and get a great headline, like what's a good, give me 3 good headlines from this, and then just dump it. Or what are the 3 biggest takeaways? What sequence would you do that if I was taking a transcript from one of my interviews?
You can do 2 things. You can take and just do the command, write a summary of the major points from the following text. Here is the text, drop it in, hit it, and it'll summarize it into bullet points for you. You can also go, give me 10 headlines from the following text, and it'll create them.
Cool. I wanted to make sure everybody got that. And I also wanted to just know how you would sequence it. And that's sweet. Guys, that is complete fire.
So I'll play with it. I'll have it summarize articles online, write a summary of the major points of the article at this link. Here's the link. It'll write the summary, and now go write an article based on the major points above. And that's all you say. Boom. And it rewrites it. Now you've just taken their content, pulled out the major points, and then rewritten an article that's non-plagiarized. And it's, 2 minutes.
All right, guys, keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming. All right, what's next?
Oh, on chat, on better prompts. I've tried it, and they're so-so. The information in chat is 2 years old. That's the last its info is updated. There weren't a lot of prompts back then. So Google's still better for prompting, for finding prompts. I saw that. So I'm gonna back out now, Dave. Let me share my my little whiteboard here.
By the way, guys, is everybody liking this? If you're getting value, let us know what you think about it. Give some reactions. What do you think so far, guys? All right, we're getting lots of love.
So yeah, now I'm going to back out to the strategy. So we need to get through to realtors. That's what this whole thing's about. How to recruit more realtor referrals. So we played a bit with ChatGPT. We know, I think everybody's here confident now. You can create incredible content quickly around a very strategic target, like homeowners with a lot of equity right now that are sitting there to warm them up. So I want to back out now and give them a thinking tool. And this is also a presentation I've taught to lenders to use when they talk with realtors to get that realtor's business. So a lot of the just another, got to move something around here. A lot of the frustration, especially for newer lenders, is how on earth do I get a realtor relationship when they've already got an existing relationship? So what I want to do is give you a process for doing that. And for those of you that want to expand your relationships, so how do you get in when they're already happy with the loan relationships they have? So first of all, we're going to back off. We're going to be talking about home buyers, and we're going to talk about human decision making. And then once you understand that, you'll know how to create strategic content. So here we go. This is, we're going to call it the decision making ladder. It's also known as the buyer's journey. And what this is it's a sequence of thought where people go from content and happy to uncontent, all the way up to taking a new action. So let's use the dentist office. We're all fine and dandy. We're not feeling any pain. We're down here. One day we feel a little tingle or something going on. We move up a little bit, but we're still not taking action because the pain isn't bad enough or the desire isn't strong enough. Then it starts to heat up and it starts to kind of hurt. Now we're thinking like, oh crud, I need to get out to the dentist. A lot of us already have a dentist. Maybe it's something new. We start looking around for dentists, or we kind of develop an intent, like I'm going to go out to a dentist. Then the pain increases a little bit more and it kind of climbs up until we go, oh, I'm going to go. With homeownership, both buyers and then homeowners that want a new home, they start off all the way down here. They're all content and happy. They're happy in their rental. They're happy in their condo. They're happy in their home. It's doing fine. Then they start to feel unsettled. Maybe they have a child or another child, or they don't like the neighborhood, or they're self-conscious about bringing people over, or they want a swimming pool. We're from Southern California, you got to have a swimming pool. And so they start getting these things. Here's the line where they take actions a realtor could see. All of this stuff down here, the dissatisfaction that's stirring up, is completely blind, or a realtor's blind to it. They can't know what's going on with their past customers or with their social media. The people are doing nothing a realtor would see. But these people, they start to search online. You're blind to it. They start to drive neighborhoods. Still, you're blind to it. Then they pop up and they go in an open house. And then guess what they do? They never call the realtor. They end up liking something, they make an offer on something right away, and they never did call the realtor. This happens over and over. I think the stats on it are just incredible on the turnover of a realtor's client database. The lack of loyalty, things like that. So what we want to do is use chat to create content that's targeting them when they're down here. For example, one of the things, they start to watch unhealthy amounts of HGTV, right? Whether they're going to remodel or move up or sell, they start binge watching HGTV. So I want to hear, and here's what we're thinking. We want to create content that calls out to people here. And we want to both use that in our own list and our own social media, but we also want to write things or craft them with chat for realtors that they can use to go after their database, so that we can bring value, so that we can get them listings and things like that. So let me ask the folks here, what are they're not subliminal, they're hidden. What are hidden thoughts, questions, behaviors, and things? I'd love to see in the chat that that homeowners and home buyers are having that realtors are blind to, and us. Go ahead and throw it in the chat there.
So guys, I really want to push you, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on Facebook or you're watching the recording on YouTube, let us know. Like right now, this is an opportunity for this community, the Trust Engine Facebook group, the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, for these communities to come together and help each other be more valuable to agents in a pretty unique and novel way. So first of all, I would be curious how many realtors have ever thought the way Stover just laid this out, and I know there are some, like this is not an unthought of strategy, but to really start creating marketing content that targets these, these things you can never see before. And by the way, I would recommend, this is a video you might want to watch with your top agents. Hey, we had this marketing expert. Robert Stover is like a $10,000 a day marketing expert that is doing a class on helping realtors get listings. Is essentially what we're doing here, and sit down with your agents. So Robert, you see anything good yet?
Oh, a lot of things. Yeah, deferred maintenance is an excellent one. I know a guy, he was an investor, and he would target deferred maintenance homes. And that was his entire thing. And so, and more specifically, someone passes away, parents leave it to the kids. The kids come walking in, and all this deferred maintenance, because they've lived there for they haven't improved anything a lot or fixed anything the last 20 years. And the kids are going, oh man, it's this piece of crap. And then without fail, they're going like, okay, now we're going to have to get money to fix it. None of the kids want to pull the money out and fix it. They don't want to refi the thing jointly and do it, or they don't want to leave one of the siblings in power, right? So now there's this albatross on the family shoulders. And then along comes cousin Joe, who goes, hey guys, I'll rent it for you. I'll rent it from you. And because I'm family, why don't you pay me less rent? So then they rent it to cousin Joe, who then stops making his rent payments, and the property continues to degrade. And then this investor comes in, he targets those people. He looks around in the, there's a database of the homes that have, someone's passed away and it's passed on to the heirs. And then he comes in, man, talk about motivated sellers. And so he's able to get them. But everybody that's sitting on a home or thinking about selling it is thinking, do I have to fix it up first? Is that deferred maintenance? So anyway, the deferred maintenance is a great thing that a lot of content should be created around.
Hey, Robert, I want to do a time check. We've got about 18 minutes left. And I do know at some point, I want to get some leadership from you on that, how to turn the fact that a sales boomerang loan officer is getting these cash out alerts, how to use ChatGPT content that would target that. So I don't know if you have any ideas on that, but just the idea that I've got to, like, you did the one where I'm a mortgage coach, but I would love to do one where, and I don't know how to say it, but how to use the fact that I'm monitoring databases for signals, some way of creating some content around that. So before we run out of time, just noodle that a little bit.
Okay. So let's come back to this chart here. So what I showed lenders how to do, loan officers, one of them was brand spanking new. And he went in and I gave him this exact little talk right here. And I say, give that talk to the realtor. Go in with a piece of paper and go, here's the home buying process right here. Here's where they start. They're content, but then they start looking around, then they start watching HGTV, then they start driving neighborhoods, then they start shopping online, then they start doing this. All of that you're blind to. I know you already have a relationship with an existing loan officers that you're happy with. I don't want that business. What I'd like to do is help you capture all these things down here with white papers and offers and articles and things that we send to your database. And all I ask is that you share the referral with me from the buyers and stuff that come out of this. And so I've had 3 different people use that and get right in to people that already had existing relationships with lenders. It's kind of like if I gave you a deal you never would have had before, would you do the loan with me kind of approach.
So my only edit, and I don't know if I would test both. I don't want that business, but I would say I want that business, but I'm going to earn that business by helping you get, all these hidden opportunities. And by the way, I would also make the case right there when you're doing it, especially if you're a sales boomerang loan officer, that I have a lot of these signals. I know when people's equity goes up. I know when people have a lot of credit debt. I know, if you are getting your database monitored by Sales Boomerang, there are signals that will help you identify someone that is most likely to be a buyer. And not only should you be making the case that I want to help you do that by creating content, but hey, put your database in my database and we'll get more business out of that.
Absolutely. So let's talk. So we've got a grand strategy was help realtors get listings. Then we've got a really tactical, like we can create content all day if we need to, that targets homeowners and listings. Now we've got the middle ground here, which is kind of a pitch that you might give. One of the guys I showed it to a broker owner, and that guy invited him in to do this exact little sketch to all of his realtors and to show them that they needed to be doing this. And then that guy volunteered his help, obviously. So he's like slayed the whole office doing this. So now let's go to the next level, which is, well, what do I do? Just cold call them and go, hey, I can and tell them this. So let's I told Dave earlier, I like throwing stun guns or stun grenades in before I bust the door down with a cold call. And so I'm going to throw just one thing out with this. I've used this with Fortune 500 companies and medium-sized companies and everything else. Does this show up on the chat window? Is right in front of my window, so I can't see what's going on here. Just a minute here. All right, I'll wing it. Dave, can you see that?
I can see it.
Simple mailing tube, but listen to it. So they get a mailing tube, it makes noise. They open it up. Was making noise. Can you see the pirate treasure?
Mm-hmm.
There, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I threw some loose pirate treasure in there, and then on a little string, they pull out a treasure map in a letter, and so in this case, it would say, "Hey, I love helping realtors find the hidden listing opportunities in their databases using some unique financial analysis tools. You can mention MortgageCoach, Sales Boomerang, plus some advanced communication strategies, ChatGPT, to help get people in listings to raise their hands and start talking with you before they start talking with your competitors or their coworkers that recommends them to their realtor. And these same strategies will work with your social and things like that. And I'd love to sit down and share with you how it works. And, a cup of coffee, something like that. So this makes your sales call easier because you call them up. It's, hey, I'm the guy that sent you the pirate treasure in the tube, right? Oh, yeah. And it starts the conversation off easy peasy. And then you invite them in. Then you sit them down and walk them through the thing that I just sketched out. And then offer to help with your offer. Does that make sense to everybody? I'll watch for feedback here.
Creative idea. Thumbs up. All right, Stover.
Yep,
So
lumpy mail, grabbers.
10 minutes.
So anyway, and the same thing would work with a broker. Hey, I want to come into your office and share with them a thinking strategy, whether they ever work with me or not. They're going to leave with strategies and a whole new mindset on how to get listings out of their database. Love to do it and bring the value. So so there's kind of top to bottom, which is right now it's all about listings. Come in with a big gun, throw a grenade, call them, get in front of them with a presentation like this, then start the way you deliver on it was with all the ChatGPT tools. The act as if prompts, there's a ton more we could go over, but I know you're tighter on time here. I'm going to throw one in that'll just blow your mind here. Let me pull it up.
Well, yeah, let's close out with blowing our mind.
Well, I can give you one. So this is not specifically for listings and stuff. It just helps the realtors create stuff. Right now, a trend is towards real micro community marketing. So let me get this. Stop share. We're going to switch over. All right. Can you see my Safari screen?
You can.
Okay.
So
Here we go. So you're going to type in this. Write a list of reasons to buy a home in Santiago Hills community of Orange, California.
right, reason to list.
I'm sorry, a reason to buy a home in Santiago Hills community in Orange, California.
Well, you did list, but I like the hyper local strategy.
And instantly, it makes me want to live in my own community. It's pretty amazing. So you can help them just create hyper local content in minutes with that prompt.
You guys
So,
like this? And
I'm going to give you another one.
and while Stover's given us another one, if anybody has a prompt that you have used that has been real gold to create some type of valuable content for you, please share it.
Yeah, I saw in the comments, one of the commenters mentioned there's a Chrome plugin. There's a free Chrome plugin that has 1,600 prompts.
How do we get that?
I'll have to look it up and send it your way.
Okay, so we'll figure out how to share that with you, but you know it's out there now. So when we post this, we'll try to put it into the description down below how to do that, and or it'll be in comments of wherever you're watching this. But
Yeah, what Dave, if before, I know when you shut off Zoom, it sometimes deletes the chat. Is there a way to save the chat? A lot of what they've come up with, I think, needs to be preserved. A lot of the guys had some pretty good insights, especially around what home buyers are considering right now.
So let's do this. So first of all, Stover, are you willing to do this again? Could we like maybe
Yeah, this is bottomless. Yeah, I've got a ton more.
So let's do this again. Like let's schedule you for next Friday. And by the way, do you guys want Stover to do this again? You know, give us some, feedback if this would be helpful. And then when this is shared in our group, so we'll put this in our YouTube channel, we'll also put this in the group. If you have questions, put them in there. If you have ideas, like, hey, I did this and this is what it did, share ideas, ask questions, and then we'll keep this party going next Friday at 9 o'clock, guys. We'll do this again, but we still got 7 minutes, but let's keep it going. And
All
yeah,
right, I'm going to throw another one up. Can you still see my so you saw the community, the hyper local thing. So here's another hyper local. If you're trying to help them find stuff to go through, they'll actually create a table. I did it for Orange, California. That's just where I'm at. A table of potential sub niches, along with popularity by search on sub niches a realtor could go after. So how crazy is that?
crazy.
So this is bottomless, and daily, I swear another 100 to 200 chat prompts are coming online. It's actually a thing where there's rules and principles and stuff like that on how to do it. But for example, I used to research, for example, a business topic or something, or I'd work with a bunch of gurus. And so I'd search in their niche on Amazon, and I'd go through the top 100 bestsellers on that given niche. And then I by myself, I'd look at all the titles and I'd start pulling out all the similarities, because that gave me a thing of, match the hatch, hot bait that people were biting on and actually paying for. So it was incredible market research. Now I tell Chat, hey, what are the top 30 bestsellers around? I just did one the other day on anxiety for a guy. What are the top things on anxiety attacks? And so the top 30 books come up. Then I said, from the books above, what are the top 7 nouns, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives? And it creates a list of it. And then I said, write headlines or write book titles for me based on that list above. And it writes all new book titles that are absolutely unique, and they incorporate all these hot buzzwords in it. So I can do in 10 minutes what used to take me hours to do. It's just amazing what can be done here.
All right, so let me share my screen real quick. I want to make sure I tell folks.
Let me stop.
Yeah, go ahead. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick. So first of all, if you want to be getting, the micro content, you want to, from the interviews that I do, the content that I think is the most valuable, sign up for my text group, which is 949-799-0839. Also, if you go to savageinsights.com, that is a place where whatever the content that I think is most valuable, like right now, there was the sign up, 190 people clicked to sign up for this from savageinsights.com. And so whatever the next call is, there'll always be a sign up at the top. Down below it, it will have some of the most valuable content that I think is driving the most value in the market. And then for those of you that are either you're an individual loan officer, you're not a mortgage coach, there's a sign up link. And if you're an executive or hey, you're a loan officer and you want your executive team to have mortgage coach and have sales boomerang, there's a place where you can get a strategy session. And we want to help you guys. Like my goal is to change how people get into debt in America by, making sure they're making informed decisions, they're getting advice, they're getting coaching. And the way we're going to do that, guys, is we got that line that Stover showed, like what's happening below the line. That's a superpower, everyone. In this call, we talked about creating content to start conversations below that line. And, but right now, if your data is being monitored by Sales Boomerang, you're getting signals below the line so that you can uncover opportunities before the competition hits. I mean, once something comes above the line, that's when it's a Shark Tank, like
once they fill out that online mortgage calculator, it's all over.
Like now they're off the radar and it's a competition. And by the way, that's great. Like that's what got you where you're at today, is playing above the line. What Stover's talking about is how to create content below that line. And what we're dedicated to at Trust Engine is to providing you with technology so that you've got that radar. You've got those goggles, those X-ray goggles to know what's going on below the line. So who's most likely to need a loan and who's most likely to want to sell their home and buy a new home. But if you're not tuned into this channel, you're missing out on that. So Stover, we got 2 minutes. Closing thoughts before we wrap it up.
I saw John Fortner. That's a nice, the head of technology for AI for Price Waterhouse. Not bad. That's actually, I just glanced at it. It's a good article that folks I want to just call attention to it.
So by the way, John, congrats on head of AI for Price Waterhouse. And you're doing a loan for that guy. Did you give him a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis? And if so, any positive feedback, John? I would love to know. If we run out of time, because literally we're running out of time, shoot me a text or an email on that, dave@trustengine.com, or text. But I would love to know what the head of AI technology at Price Waterhouse thought of a Mortgage Coach TCA. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, be strategic. Right now, people want listings. The way to get them is to create content that calls out to people kind of in this, well, we can't really move because we're sitting on such a low interest rate, and crud, look at all this equity we have. What should we do with it? Use your chat to create articles around all of that. I'll dump some of the articles. I'll gift, not dump, some of the articles that I did the other day that you guys can take, and as experts, you can tweak them and tune them to how you want them. They're pre-done using these commands. And I'm looking forward to doing more of this again, Dave. And it's always going to be a balance between strategy and then using the chat stuff to do it. Because if you don't have the strategy behind it, it's just flailing or throwing more content into the stream.
John, this article looks like gold too. So guys, let's, Stover is the expert facilitating this workshop. I am helping moderate this. If you are tuned into the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, the Trust Engine YouTube channel, you're going to have a competitive advantage, and let's face it, we are in a new era in mortgage. 63% of all mortgages in America start with 2% or 3%. It's not something we've ever seen. ChatGPT is here. AI is here. It's making impact. And the local referral-based professionals that are tuned in to this channel, that are using Trust Engine technology, are going to have an unfair competitive advantage. So we hope to help y'all. If you're not already on the Mortgage Coach team and you're an individual loan officer, savageinsights.com, there's a link. And if your company is not outfitted with both Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach, there's a link to get a strategy session. So go to Savage Insights for both of those. Stover, you the man, bro.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody. This is
all right.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
Take care.